Good evening and a warm welcome to State of Business. Let's take a look at the stories making headlines tonight. Central Bank says rate hike will not affect growth targets. And Chinese investors seek business opportunities in Sri Lanka. A look at the stories in detail now. Central Bank Governor Dr. Indrajit Coomaraswamy says country's growth projections will not be affected by the Monetary Board's decision to revise policy interest rates upward by 50 basis points. He said this addressing media at the Central Bank this morning. In its latest meeting, the Monetary Board of Sri Lanka decided to tighten the monetary policy in an attempt to control the private sector credit. CBSL believes that the continued appetite for bank credit by the private sector, in spite of the upward movement in market interest rates, could create excessive demand and high inflation in the economy in future.
The macroeconomic framework for this year, which was to deliver 5% growth with inflation in the mid-single digits and a stable balance of payments, assumed that there would be a 2% of GDP contraction in the budget deficit. Now, in the first 6 months of the year, the fiscal performance was very good and the government was able to hit its targets. But the delays that have been caused by some of the court cases relating to the VAT adjustments has meant that there could be some disruption to revenue collection.
The value-added tax amendment bill will be presented in Parliament on the 11th of August. The governor said that if it is passed through, the government will be able to catch up on the revenue side.
When there is a slippage or there's a possibility of a slippage in fiscal policy, clearly monetary policy has to lean against that. So this persistence of the high credit growth to the private sector, plus some uncertainty about revenue collection on the fiscal side, which should go away on the 11th of August, but it will take a few months to make up for that. So we want to really have a framework of policy making where we are forward-looking. So we see some possibility of slippage on the fiscal side and this persistence of credit growth. So we felt that we needed to take some action.
Deputy Minister of Public Enterprise Development Iran Vikramaratne says the government will launch its trade policy next year. He said this speaking at the 50th anniversary celebration of Sri Lanka Shippers Council.
Often there is lots of fear and falsehood in terms of trade and trade agreements. Our government is committed to forging ahead with trade agreements. We are not going to play on the insecurities of professionals, but are going to work on the superior confidence of our professional class. In August, we will be pronouncing a trade agreement policy. We will proceed with discussions with India, with China, and with Singapore.
Visiting Canadian Foreign Minister Stéphane Dion visited the Northern Province today. There he met with the Governor of the Northern Province, Reginald Currie. Talks had centred on the resettlement of displaced people of the area. The Governor had informed the visiting Canadian Minister that steps are being taken to release necessary lands to resettle the internally displaced persons there. Take a short break. We'll be back with more on the other side. Welcome back. The China-Sri Lanka Business Forum, jointly organized by the Beijing Langsang Exhibition Company and Lanka Exhibition and Conference Services, was held in Colombo this afternoon. It was organized in association with the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce. The main aim of the event was to enhance trade and investment ties among the businesses of the two countries. The Board of Investment, making a presentation, highlighted the investment opportunities prevailing in Sri Lanka. And Alliance Finance and Guardian Equity Asset Management partnered to launch Sri Lanka's first dual return investment plan. Alpha Plus, the newly launched product, is open to both corporates and individuals who seek a long-term exposure to equity markets while at the same time enjoying a guaranteed long-term fixed deposit return. Alpha Plus is a dual return investment plan where plan funds are invested in both fixed deposits and in equity, thereby giving investors exposure to returns of two asset classes with a single investment. The recommended mix of investment is 70% in fixed deposit and 30% in equity.
We are in a low interest regime, and I think in the future we have to expect to live with this low interest regime. So can we meet these challenges we are facing with this alone? That's why we have come up with a product which can give a better return than what you could expect from a fixed deposit.
When money is invested in the Alpha Plus plan, a fixed deposit will be opened with Alliance Finance, with a portion of the money and the balance to be allocated towards the Guardian Equity Fund.
Why equity? I might sound a little biased because I come from an equity background, but if you look at the returns that a market gives you on the long run, you do get very good returns. It is a matter of timing, it is a matter of patience, it is a matter of selecting stocks which are fundamentally strong. It is a matter of not running after quick profits and losing what you have and what you don't have if you have borrowed from gone on margin trading. So there's a lot of criteria that goes into making sure that you make money in the market.
We have Stock Watch coming up next after this break. Welcome back. Colombo Bourse ended the month on a mixed note, with the indices marginally shifting points. Foreign investors were net buyers on equities once again, with interest seen on Hemas Holdings, Texture Jersey and Tokyo Cement. The all-share price index gained 1.72 to close at 6,393.87, while the S&P SL20 index dipped 0.27 to close at 3,414.39. Turnover for the day amounted to 446.8 million rupees, with 36.1 million shares trading hands. The top traded counters were Texture Jersey with 89 million rupees, Hemas Holdings 43 million rupees and Tokyo Cement non-voting contributing 32 million rupees to turnover. Foreign inflows amounted to 156 million rupees, while foreign outflows totaled 35 million rupees. Here's a look at the day's foreign currency rates. And now we take a look at the dealing room update for the week.
Sri Lanka's central bank raised its policy rate by 50 basis points on Thursday in a move aimed at curbing stubbornly high credit growth that is adding to concern about inflationary pressure. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka raised the standing deposit facility and the standing lending facility rate to 7% and 8.50% respectively. The third tightening measure since December follows private sector credit growth staying near a 4-year high of 28% in May, while June consumer price inflation rose to a 32-month high of 6%. At this week's T-bill auction, the 3-month maturity was rejected, but the 6-month bill and the 1-year bill declined to 9.59% and 10.48% respectively. The 1-week rupee forwards, which have been acting as a proxy for the spot rupee, ended at 146.10 to 146.25 per dollar, slightly firmer from Wednesday's close of 146.25 to 146.40. The secondary market treasury bond yields reacted to the rate hike. The 3-year maturity on the 1st of July 2019 climbed up to 11.75% from 11.80% levels after the announcement from its closing levels of 11.30% from 11.40%.
That's all from the newsroom for tonight. We'll see you again this Sunday at 7 p.m. with Biz Roundup. Good night.